Thank you very much, Richard. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Come on. Okay, there we go. Great. And wasn't that a wonderful video? That really does represent so much of what we're doing at this institution. For that, I'm very proud and grateful, I can assure you. And that video really does allow me to say that there is hope. There is always hope. Those words certainly rang loud and clear this summer on my second tour of West Virginia. When big ideas inspire bold decisions, when courage trounces boundaries, when let's go morphs from a sports cheer into a daily mantra, and when we advance change, we fuel hope. And that is what West Virginia University is doing in Harpers Ferry and in the lives of so many across the mountain state and beyond. We nurture hope in the hearts of our students. We open doors of opportunity, and by helping them build a culture that puts learning first, we give them the keys to fulfilling lives. We infuse hope into the lives of West Virginians by working with governments and businesses and other partners. We help our citizens create jobs, improve our schools, and build healthier lifestyles. By working together, we reverse the course of our state and rise to a place of opportunity. Because our researchers dare to think big, we generate hope and we change lives. We make a stroke diagnosis as fast and easy as a blood test. We study gravitational waves to discover more about our universe. We develop digital publishing to provide greater access. And we make West Virginia University a leader in diesel emission research, even raising questions about leading automobile manufacturers' emission standards, resulting in major fines by the Environmental Protection Agency. And I probably will not be going to Wolfsburg, Germany to ask for a donation in the near future. By investing in research facilities and especially our people, we strengthen communities and enlarge the human spirit. In the past year, we have worked hard. We have reached new heights, I believe, and we did so because our students, our state, and our world depends on us. They are still depending on us, so it is time to surge beyond boundaries that have held us back. It is time, in my view, to take risks, thoughtful and certainly strategic risks. In the simple, succinct language of advertising, it is time to go big or go home. We are ready to take action. We are one university. We are West Virginia University. We are one West Virginia. And for the future of us all, we are here together. I want to focus today on the power of the university and what we must do to harness that power to allow us to meet our obligations to so many. So how do we get started? The first step is scaling the boundaries of indecision and exalting the power of yes. Last month when I spoke at the Chamber of Commerce Business Summit in Lewisburg, many people congratulated me on our launch of the West Virginia University Beckley campus, the future home of WVU Tech. They are excited about the opportunity the new campus will bring to southern West Virginia, but I think they're even more excited to see a decision simply get made. Rest assured, deferred decision-making is not a unique West Virginia product like the pepperoni roll. I have faced it in every place that I have served, and one needs only look at our federal government to see how fear of change, criticism, and political retribution has stalled our national momentum. Incrementalism and hesitation beget mediocrity. But I believe our university can apply the jumper cables to get our state moving again. By setting a standard for decision-making and advancement, we will make a real contribution to West Virginia University's future. I am not proposing that we greenlight every idea that comes along. In fact, the most important word in transformation, in my view, is no. If we as a university and as a state are willing to say no, then our yes becomes very powerful. So we must reserve our yes for moments that herald real change. Our initial decision to purchase the Beckley campus and then our decision to move the West Virginia University Tech campus there is a powerful yes. Yes to a stronger economy in southern West Virginia, and yes to life-changing education for students with big dreams. I would, by the way, like to commend our Board of Governors and state leaders for supporting this important decision. Thanks to them, we are ready to leap, not creep, into the future. And what is our future? Students. So there is power in learning. Putting students first means helping them escape worn-out bonds of destructive student behavior that only inhibit their success. It means awakening them to the power of learning and giving them a 24/7 experience that prepares them for vibrant careers and enriching lives. We showcased the power of learning at Welcome Week this year, and we did it in partnership with our students. A new event, Saturday Night Lights, brought 3,500 freshmen together at Milan Pushkar Stadium for an extravaganza that brought Mountaineer tradition alive. We moved the traditional Monday Fall Fest concert to Sunday so it would not distract students from academics, resulting in, let me just say this again, resulting in 0 incidents at Fall Fest for the first time ever. Students demonstrated that they could be good citizens when 1,000 of them completed Welcome Week service projects in their new community. Every indication show that the approach is paying substantial dividends with improved academic records among our entering freshmen. Honors College enrollment just this year surged from about 500 students last year to 740 this year. We are attracting more students who are intellectually curious and are certainly career-driven, and we are giving them the learning experience they deserve. That involves designing advanced facilities in which they live and learn. Our newest student living complex includes Oakland Hall, a residence where 900 freshmen live in ultra-modern rooms, and University Park with apartments for upperclassmen. Our beautiful new art museum has given the university's unique art collection a fitting home. And last week, we dedicated our new advanced engineering research facility. Later this semester, Evansdale Crossing will open as a student services hub, and spring will see the opening of our new agricultural science building. These and other strategic investments will give our students in Morgantown the best possible learning environment. And Project 168 will help them make the most of our academic culture, which emphasizes hands-on learning, outside-the-box thinking, and global exploring. Part of Project 168 is a revitalized advising system that will help students stay on track for graduation. We have set a 90% retention rate as our future goal. Now let me repeat that, a 90% retention rate as our future goal, and we will achieve it. Guiding us to that goal is Joe Seaman, who will serve as what I call our very first Dean of Completion. Think about it. And I've said this to you on a number of times. If you go into admissions offices, we have these fabulous admissions offices, and we have deans of admission who help our students into the university. So why do we not have a dean of completion who will help our students graduate from this university? We will now, and we will do that. Putting students first is our highest mandate. That means more than just transforming the culture and strengthening academics. It also means making certain we are accessible and affordable for every qualified student who wants to learn here. Access and quality must be our polar stars. To maintain our quality, we made the tough decision to increase tuition this year. It is a difficult decision, but entirely necessary. We must never sacrifice the quality of the institution. Instead, we must find ways to keep education affordable. Now, I am pleased that the West Virginia University Foundation created the Dream First campaign to raise $50 million for student scholarships. By the way, we're well on our way to meeting that goal, and I'm grateful to the foundation leadership and all of our donors for helping our students thrive. Now let me speak to the power of trust. It is important to invest in scholarships, facilities, and student life programs, but none of these things will help our students succeed if we lack in the university's greatest resource, our talented people, to teach and to mentor and to guide our students. So we must hire and retain the very best, from leading researchers to inspiring faculty to on-the-rise graduate students. We must trust you. We must trust them to do their jobs effectively and compensate them accordingly. And we must unshackle the bureaucratic chains that strangle creativity. Investing in faculty and staff means encouraging risk-taking. It means rewarding success, even rewarding failure when it springs from innovative attempts. Investing in faculty and staff means building a merit-based university, one that is fair but not equal. A one-size-fits-all approach has no place at a university. Our reward structures must promote innovation instead of propagating mediocrity. It is a time to move away from a structure that worked well 50 years ago. Reward and recognition, and I've talked about this so many times, reward and recognition should be crafted in a manner that reflects the nuances of today's higher education landscape. We need to provide a positive learning environment that includes an infrastructure of laboratories and libraries worthy of a Big 12 institution. We need to hire at market so that we attract the very best in the country. We need to address compression challenges, and we need to create a system that places value on each faculty member as an individual and the strengths he or she brings to the institution, whether it be in research, in teaching, or in public service. When we create a mosaic and think of ourselves as a university as a mosaic of talent, we create a university that will move farther, faster, with ideas and ingenuity surpassing all others in higher education. And I do believe that. And finally, investing in faculty and staff means making their jobs easier by making our university simple and agile and responsive. In short, we must bludgeon our bureaucracy. I worked hard on that one, so. To lead the way, I created a bureaucracy SWAT team, popularly known as our Bureaucracy Busters. They are streamlining processes and procedures across campuses to save time and money. And they get their ideas from the people who understand cumbersome processes best, our faculty and staff. I've often said, and I will say it again and again, we must transform our university from being an elephant to being a ballerina. We will continue to battle bureaucracy, most often created by us, by the way, so that we can move forward with grace and agility. There is great power in partnership, and streamlining our processes will make it easier for us to experience the power of partnership. The problems facing our state and world are too big for any one person, department, institution, or sector to solve alone. Boundaries within the university must not be boundaries on our ingenuity. That is why we are creating more trans-institutional efforts like our Neurosciences Institute, the Energy Institute, and our endeavors in innovation, entrepreneurship, and commercialization. Although I feel strongly about creating a strong academic environment for our students, I am equally committed to leading this institution to our rightful place among the best research universities in the world. The research we conduct on this campus has the power to make a difference in people's lives. And it is even more powerful when we allow our students, both undergraduate and graduate, to work alongside their mentors, making discoveries that are critical to the advancement of this state and this nation. For example, our experts are studying every aspect of shale gas, which is becoming so important to our state. We launched the Marcellus Shale Energy and Environmental Laboratory, or MSIL, in partnership with Northeast Natural Energy, the National Energy Technology Laboratory, and some university called Ohio State that sounds vaguely familiar to me. MSIL is the first ever long-term comprehensive field study of shale gas resources in which scientists will study the process from beginning to end. This summer, drilling began on the Science Well and 2 production wells that formed the heart of MSIL. Another powerful partnership stems from our collection of papers from former Senator Jay Rockefeller, former Congressman Nick Rahal, and Nobel Prize-winning author Pearl Buck. Through these works, we are enhancing our library's West Virginia and Regional History Center while preserving our state's heritage with collaborative initiatives around these collections. As West Virginia University's flagship land-grant institution, it is our responsibility to promote our state's heritage for future generations. But I see this as much more than a responsibility. I believe it is a great opportunity. And we are currently working to launch a humanities center that will position our university as a leading voice on the value and necessity of humanities education. The center will ensure that our humanities programs are working hand in hand toward the common good. Through it, faculty and students will strengthen humanities, research, and education in West Virginia, improving the lives of all of our citizens. This center is a faculty-led project and shows the collaborative spirit that is important to our future. And speaking of collaboration, We are celebrating the arts and humanities on our campus all year long as we acknowledge the 50th anniversary of the establishment of the National Endowment for the Arts and the National Endowment for the Humanities. So whether coming together to shape our understanding of the world, to renew the promise of Title IX, to expand suicide prevention resources, or to research West Virginia's biggest health problems, we must be one West Virginia University. In the same way, boundaries within our state must not become barriers to progress. That is why our university is quashing the notion of regional and institutional competition. We must grow the pie, not fight over its diminishing size. We must make West Virginia a living and learning laboratory for successful partnerships among all sectors, public, private, education, and government. Above all, we must eliminate any arrogant notion that we are too big or too good to partner with others. We are one West Virginia, and the power of partnership will make all of our lives better. Powering West Virginia's future will require the courage to look at things in new ways. So yes, there is power in courage. We must root out the most tenacious obstacles to our success, the ones we impose on ourselves. These include the negative self-image that haunts West Virginians and the poverty mentality that lurks throughout our institution. Yes, we are like most other institutions in that we do not have enough money to meet all of our appetites. But too often we let that discourage us from using what we do have in the most thoughtful and productive ways. We must be courageous enough to believe we can compete with anyone on the national or world stage. When Groucho Marx said he would not join any club that would have him as a member, he expressed the same negative elitism that affects some of us. The notion that if we are so good, why would we live in West Virginia? We need to embrace this beautiful state and encourage the best and brightest West Virginians we have exported to other states to return home. We have been a net exporter of talent for generations. We need to find that talent wherever it resides and create ways for that talent to return home. Finally, we must be brave enough to challenge our most fearsome enemy. The phrases, "This is the way we do things in West Virginia," and "This is the way we do things at West Virginia University." Those answers to all of us must no longer be acceptable. We must be fearless and resilient. We must be fearless now because the stakes are too high. This university, therefore, represents the power of hope. Having spent another summer touring West Virginia, I know that our university's calling extends far beyond Morgantown. I met Braxton County High School students who are preparing for careers through our Health Sciences and Technology Academy. In Wyoming County, I shared a story with children attending Energy Express, a summer reading and nutrition program that our university's Extension Unit offers for children in rural communities. From Charleston to Clay, from Sutton to St. Albans, and at the State Fair in Lewisburg, I saw that we are making a difference. And I also saw that we need to do even more, and I can sum up what we need to do in one word. And I will underscore that. That one word is hope. Against all odds, after enduring so many hardships, the people of West Virginia are optimistic about the future. West Virginians are among the most resilient people I have ever met, but we must give them a reason for them to keep hoping. It is up to West Virginia University to deliver on the promises we made to this state when we became a land-grant institution. It is up to us to build West Virginia where education, health, and the economy thrive. So let us begin with the power of education. Our commitment to education begins at an early age, before youngsters even step foot into the classroom. Educational enlightenment is a lifelong process. It is not wedged between kindergarten and 12th grade. Nor should it be a privilege only for the elite. Abraham Lincoln changed that game back in 1862 with passage of the Morrill Act. At West Virginia University, it is our job to facilitate education for all, and education for all equals empowerment. From panhandle to panhandle and behind every hill and valley, education has the ability to empower all citizens of West Virginia. There is no more important time than now to realize that. As you know, Traditional industries across the country and in West Virginia are fading away. These are the cold, sobering facts. For a state that backs its pride on coal, the volume of coal mining jobs has taken a tremendous hit. The same goes for other industries, such as the steel mills and the manufacturing plants. When I was first president of West Virginia University back in the early 1980s, you could pass on college, you could even drop out of high school and still get a decent paying job. That is no longer the case. Going to college was once viewed as an elite privilege. Today, it is a necessity. We have entered the age where applying our brains for ideas and innovation overrides the back-breaking, blue-collar work of yesteryear. Ingenuity today is what pays the bills and puts food on the table. Therefore, we need to ingrain in our children, who are the future of West Virginia and these United States, this notion that education is a lifelong process. It is about adapting and evolving around life as individuals and as communities. We must work closely with our public schools and boards of education at both the county and the state levels. We are already working hand in hand with the State Board of Education. We have a rich relationship with State Superintendent Martirano. We now must burst out of the corner into which we painted ourselves. No more segmentation of pre-K through 12 versus higher education. We are all interconnected. If our students are to excel on our college campuses, they must know how to read and do math at an early age. A 2013 study revealed that 7 out of 10 students in West Virginia were not reading proficiently at the end of the 3rd grade. That is unacceptable. As a university, we will continue to encourage reading through programs such as Energy Express. We will train more secondary science, technology, engineering, and mathematics teachers through our U-Teach program. We'll explore any avenue that will give our students the skills they need. We must also expand our online learning, and in order to do that, West Virginia, particularly our rural areas, need a bit of a boot in infrastructure and technology. As I noted earlier, Abraham Lincoln signed the Morrill Act of 1862 that opened the gates of educational access to all. But here we are in 2015, and still not every child has the same access as the next, because they might live in the southern coal fields or in a secluded area without the luxuries of technology. That is why we are pushing high school students into the door of West Virginia University while they are in high school through efforts such as the Access WVU Early College Program. This program does not get enough recognition. Current high school students can enroll in university courses and earn credits toward their college degree before setting foot on campus. That is the kind of forward thinking that will help these students succeed. Another way we are staying ahead of the curve is through massive online, open online courses, a MOOC. These MOOCs are defined as courses of study made available over the internet without charge to a very large number of people. That without charge part, I admit, it gives me pause. Our university moved cautiously into the world of MOOCs, and rightly so, partnering with Coursera, a leading provider, and offering 2 courses. The interest was phenomenal. A course on today's music industry attracted more than 4,500 students from 126 countries, and a course on forensic accounting and fraud examination enrolled more than 20,000 students from 86 countries. Online education supports our highest calling as a land-grant university, providing access to opportunity. But despite ever-evolving technologies, we cannot, and I'm going to underscore that word, we cannot let what has historically elevated higher education as a public savior slip away. Face-to-face, real-life education. Students are the reason we are here. Knowledge is our gift to them. Inspiration is their gift to us. This vibrant exchange in our university's core mission, and everything is on the table when it comes to rethinking our delivery system of higher education. A college education means an exploration of all ideas. A college campus should provide a safe place for us to explore ideas and beliefs other than our own. We should be questioned, and we should question others. We must see the world beyond the boundaries we live in and those that have been created for us. One debate that has popped up on many campuses across the country threatens the core roots of a college education system. I am afraid and I'm going to say this very clearly, I'm afraid we are becoming too politically correct, and that the real living, breathing world outside of academia is laughing. Who here is familiar with the trigger warnings that some of our overly sensitive college students in the nation have called for on books and syllabi? Columbia University, my alma mater, for instance, made changes in its required reading after some student concerns Ovid's Metamorphoses, a book some said was offensive because of sexual violence, is out, and a Toni Morrison novel was added. The Columbia example is a slippery precedent to which we must not succumb. I downright detest the notion of avoiding debate or discussion just because a topic might make some people uncomfortable. College campuses are the places for healthy and open dialogue. I do not wish to limit who comes to campus to speak because they might have ideas or thoughts different from our own or society's current landscape. Now let us be mindful that we must treat each other respectfully, we must be inclusive, and we must listen and speak to each other with open minds and open hearts. We should lead the way for our citizenry to once again debate issues openly and with fervor and without fear of retribution or censorship. We also have the responsibility to assert the power of health care. So I warned you when I came here about 18 months ago. I told you we would bust down the silos that separate our system. I told you we would forge more meaningful connections other than sharing the same heating plant. The best example of that collaboration is the bond being forged between our healthcare system and the university. Hats off to Albert Wright, our President and CEO of our West Virginia University Hospitals, Dr. Christopher Calenta, the President and CEO of West Virginia University's Health System, and of course Dr. Clay Marsh, our Vice President and Executive Dean for Health Sciences, and their teams who have done a remarkable job on the health side. These men and women recognize the need to let our patients and communities know what we are doing together for them. A new yet consistent brand campaign, WVU Medicine, ties all of our talented people and quality health services together in a meaningful way for patients and the public. WVU Medicine is a promise to everyone. No matter where you see that sign, you'll find the very best in health care. And our health sciences faculty members across the state are making a difference in people's lives. In the Eastern Panhandle, our doctors and medical students prescribe fresh fruits and vegetables to their patients and then show them how to prepare them. In Morgantown, Nurse Jen Mallow is handing out iPads to patients at the Health Right Clinic so they can track their health every day and have a face-to-face talk with someone at the clinic when they have a problem without leaving home. Pediatrician Dr. Pamela Murray developed an app to help teenagers make good choices during the transition to adult life. I wish I'd have had that. And our relationships with Marshall University, Charleston Area Medical Center, the School of Osteopathic Medicine, and dozens of other partners in health education, research, and health care are an all-time high. In fact, our gold and blue nation has come together with others to support research addressing the Mountain States' health issues. West Virginia University and Marshall University together have pledged $1.5 million to jumpstart healthcare research and delivery projects across the state. We need to go from last to first in health. West Virginians have real health problems, and we have a responsibility to address them. The health of our people directly affects the health of our state, the health of our economy, and the health of our positioning in the global market. Cooperation, not competition, will lift this state and its citizens. Finally, that's a great word, isn't it? We must focus on the power of prosperity. Some of you might be familiar with the Leonardo da Vinci quote. I love this quote. People of accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things. Of course, that fits into our whole Mountaineers Go First mantra, and it provides us with a calling for bold ideas and bold action. Going out and happening to things, I love that term, happening to things, exemplifies true leadership. And West Virginia University will lead in the area where we are starving for innovation. In order to embrace bold action, we announced last year the creation of a Center for Big Ideas. Let me cite a project that we're currently undertaking through the center. One overarching theme that has emerged can be summed up in 2 words: community resiliency. Let me repeat that, community resiliency. For generations, communities across the country grew their ideas around the seeds of industry. Local economies flourished around the stable roots of manufacturing industries such as automotive and steel. However, our manufacturing communities across the nation have faced a shifting reality. Although manufacturing is still a vital part of our country's overall economy, it is now clear that the jobs that have been lost in recent decades are not coming back. We have seen the effects of the changes to the nation's physical reality in our own backyard. Just like other parts of the country, West Virginia has witnessed changes in job markets causing a cascade of both severe and troubling economic and societal consequences that have sometimes strained our ability to connect people to jobs. When I returned to West Virginia University, I embarked on a tour of all 55 counties across this great state, reinvigorating our land-grant mission. This year I visited many of them again, 40 in fact, and I'll do the same again next year. I shook the hands of business people, embraced teachers and nurses, and high-fived young students. I have looked into their eyes and carried their stories back to our campus. I know how much people love this state, and I understand why, because I love it too. So as I listen to the challenges we face, I firmly believe it is this institution's mission to make full use of our resources to better understand the needs in our communities and address them together. This is not university largesse. In fact, it is our duty to the state and its citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not simply rhetoric. I'm talking about real-world application of knowledge and research for the public good. Actions that will enact positive change in our neighborhoods, schools, and businesses. In Weirton, in the northern panhandle, a town whose economic stability was uprooted with the drastic contraction of the steel industry beginning in the 1980s, smart and loyal leaders are still forging the way forward. Nationally, communities are searching to understand how the staggering decline of an industry has had an impact on workers' families and subsequent generations. Together we must learn from those who have found the grit and resilience to go about rebuilding their lives, even as their mettle was tested again and again. Our university would like to begin the conversation with community members who have lived through these industry shifts. Through interdisciplinary work that pairs university and external resources with frontline community intelligence, we can find solutions that honor the culture and history of our communities, employ data analysis as well as national and economic trends, and identify public and private resources for supporting individuals, families, and communities while recognizing the importance of meaningful work. For these community engagement projects, academic departments from across the university and within the new multidisciplinary John D. Rockefeller IV School of Public Policy will play a vital role, guided by those who have lived through real-life challenges, some for generations. As a country, we once faced the evolution of an agrarian economy, and now that comes to an industrial economy, and now we must again face and embrace a new national economy that relies on global manufacturing. Some of our communities have been part of that evolution. And as our nation chooses paths forward, West Virginia can be a model for communities and individuals across the country of how to be resilient and determined and successful. So that, my colleagues, is what it means to provide a meaningful education. Putting a strategic plan into strategic action means, above all, recommitting to communities across the state. So I can tell you, as I close, that we have accomplished many great things this past year, of which I am very proud. But what makes me even more proud is the spirit of our leadership, our faculty, our staff, and our students who want to do more. It is not enough to achieve the goal, we want to surpass it. We exceed expectations, we dance beyond the boundaries. Going big sometimes comes with risk, and to me that is okay, as long as we move forward thinking strategically, moving quickly and fearlessly, and always, always putting our students and the 1.8 million people of this great state first. So that is the way we are destined to lead, that is the way we must lead, and that is the way that we have been called to lead. So saying that, I am now prepared to take your questions, and I would like to do that. You know, we put things up on Twitter, by the way. I can't see them, but I'm going to take a look at that. we put some things up on Twitter, and then we also have some microphones here. Mark.
I'm the Helen Thomas of the WVU Faculty Senate, if anyone gets that reference. Congratulations. And forgive me if you've covered this in the early part of your speech. I would like to blame the PRT, but it works smoothly from Walnut Street here perfectly, so I'm going to blame my daughter's figure skating lesson. This is for some students. We saw Arne Duncan resign as Secretary of Education because of issues relating to student loans. And of course, a lot of our students are working 2 or 3 jobs to make it through. And bless them, work is good, but so is studying for classes and showing up in reasonable wakefulness for classes. On the other hand, one of our major presidential candidates has proposed a 4-year free college. And I'm just curious about your thoughts on 4-year free college. Is that something worth advocating for, or is it so utopian that we can't even consider it?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's utopian. That Bernie Sanders, I've seen that. You've also seen that the cost of that would literally create trillions of more in debt. You know,
well, that's disputed.
Yeah, I understand that. But nonetheless, saying that, I think that the issue for me is affordable education. How will we make that happen? You know, the Europeans, of course, have free education in many areas, and their universities are not very good. Part of it because of the fact that they have no choice. They have a federal system, and their federal system creates limited kinds of choice. You know, you take a look at the Japanese, for example. They work really hard to get into college, and then their colleges and their universities are not nearly as competitive as this institution. I think that the issue in this country has always been, the great strength of our higher education has always been that of choice. Small and large, public and private, Mormon and Catholic. We have lots of choices. I think that the real issue facing us, though, in this nation is how do we increase quality and decrease costs in higher education? Now, whether that's through free tuition, whether that's through a variety of other points, we have to do that. On our own institution, you know, we're very blessed to be here because we have, thanks to a former president of the university who forgot to advocate for increased tuition, we have one of the lowest tuitions in the country, and I know him well. But saying that, and it's not David, and so even as you know, I tell the story about the fact that we raised our tuition 10%, which was not something that I necessarily advocated for, but nonetheless we did it because our base was very, very low. If I would have raised tuition 10% at Brown, it would have been about $6,600. If I would have raised it at 10% at Vanderbilt, it would have been about $6,000. If I had raised it at that amount at the University of Colorado, it would have been about $4,900. And at Ohio State, it would have been about $2,000. At here, it was $600. Think about that. And so what I'm saying to you is the fact that we have to figure out a way how to work this triangle of increasing quality and making sure that our costs come back into line. And on the issue of free tuition, I think I'd have to take a look very carefully at the economics. You know, one of the reasons we have a 1.5 trillion economic overhang in terms of student debt is the fact that we made money too easy for students, and now we have some of these for-profit institutions which have gouged these students, and they have a 45 or 50% rate of not ability to be able to pay, and so the whole thing is imploding on us. So it's a mix. But I appreciate the question very much. You know that, Mark. Hi, Lisa.
Lisa DiBartolomeo, Eberly College of Arts and Sciences. Is that what you were mouthing at me, Richard? Okay. You mentioned building a system that reflects and recognizes faculty strengths and passions through rewards and recognitions. And I was hoping you could speak a little bit more about ways to recognize the strength here at WVU of teaching, research, and service, and any big, bold initiatives you're thinking of.
Well, I think that this is a differentiator for us. I really do believe this. And by the way, I want to congratulate our faculty. This was before I came, for the fact that we actually do, and Lisa, I will note, was the first in the country teaching faculty member who was made the chair of our, the chair of our faculty senate. I noticed that the University of California at Berkeley just did that, as a matter of fact. So, saying that, this is the issue. This is a simple one. These are very complex times. These are very complex institutions. And what we've done, and some of you have heard me say this before, so I'm sorry when I repeat myself, we treat our faculty like McDonald's hamburgers. Everyone is the same. That's wrong. What we have to do is you have to recognize that we are a mosaic, as I said before, and the talent that we have needs to be individually recognized. We need to recognize people for individual worth and individual qualities. We have too many people caught in the associate professor syndrome because of the fact that someone said that they didn't do X, Y, or Z. We're killing too many trees. And not because of the fact that we're not doing good research, because of the fact that we're requiring too much of some people and not enough of others. And so it's that issue. So I believe in this. I believe that the great university of the future is going to be one in which individuals are recognized for individually accomplishing great things, and that's what we have to do, be it in teaching, be it in research, and be it in public service.